Hi everyone, welcome back to Kat's Book Corner, now where we talk about all things book and bookish. Now this might be a surprise video, because I might be posting it earlier in the week, because I'm going home for spring break this weekend, so I wanted to see if I could finish the rest of my TBR while I was up here. And I did, I finished these 3 books. So I might post this on the weekend, I might post it during the week. I haven't decided yet, so surprise. But we're going to be talking about Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, which is the 3rd one, Foul Lady Fortune, and Assistant to the Villain. Now these were all pretty good books. I actually really liked all of them. So there will be the spoiler section and the non-spoiler section. We'll start with non-spoilers and I'll have my ratings above. Alright, let's get started. The 3rd Harry Potter book, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. This is one of my favorite Harry Potter books. It introduced my favorite characters. I really love them so much. It's 5 stars. But it's like a weird thing. I wish there was not like a 4.75, but a different tier of 5 stars kind of. Because while this book is amazing, it's one of my favorites, it's not on compared to Six of Crows or Midnight Library or any of my other 5 stars, but it still is a 5 star because it's one of my favorite books I've ever read. It might just be a 5 star nostalgia, so if I didn't have the feelings I have towards it, it'd probably be lower. So it's probably the same with the Spider-Man too, because if I didn't have the feelings I have towards Spider-Man, it wouldn't be like that. But this is where Sirius Black escapes Azkaban, the wizard prison, to, well, they think, hunt Harry down. I really love it. You get Remus and Sirius in this one, my 2 favorite characters. I love them so much. They're amazing. Let's see. This is one of the ones where Dumbledore doesn't anger me. He's barely in it, which is great, because I don't like the character. Oh, and I love all of the Weasleys, and it's just so good. I love it so much. The entire ending is just amazing, and the whole entire beginning where it takes I don't know how many chapters to get back to Hogwarts. This is where it starts getting way longer to get back to Hogwarts. There's 5 chapters before we're back to Hogwarts, which, to be fair, the first one took 10 to get back to Hogwarts, and I know the next one takes a while, but still. The second one was only 2 chapters before it was back to school, but I really, really love this one so much. Okay, moving on to Foul Lady Fortune. I surprisingly really liked this. This was a 4.75. I loved it so much. It's not a book I normally go for. It's it's real things that have happened with fictional characters and with tiny little tweaks to a reality. Because the main character, Rosalind, was injected with basically a super soldier serum. That's what it reminded me of, and I really liked it. So she's she's being an assassin called Fortune. That's her code name. And she has to go undercover with Orion. I love him so much. He's so cute. To solve these murders that have been happening in Shanghai. You also get other different characters too. You get Oliver, who is Orion's brother, who's on the other side of the war. And you get Celia, who is Rosalind's sister, who's partners with Oliver, actually. You also get, what's her name? I think it's Phoebe, who is Orion's younger sister. You get her too. And you get, there's so many good things about this book, where they have to team up together, and they don't really like each other in the beginning, so the banter is just amazing. I love the banter so, so much. And I honestly didn't expect to be this surprised with this book. There's this twist at the end that I did not see coming. And that's something for me, because normally I can call stuff. Or I don't know, maybe I'm just off my game, because I haven't been able to call stuff as good as I normally can. But I really liked it. I was on the edge of my seat. I finished this in a day, and this is 500 pages. Do you know how dedicated I was to reading this? As soon as I got done all my classes and did all my homework, I literally spent the whole day reading. Like, I just really wanted to finish it. I loved it so much. And the cliffhanger, that's probably why it's not 5 stars, because of that cliffhanger. This book had me tearing up, and I don't normally tear up during books. But I really cannot wait to read the second one. I might buy it when I'm home in a couple days. Or maybe I already have it, I don't know. By the time you're seeing this, at least. And this is like the spin-off series of the Violent Delights. I knew that going in, so I knew I'd be spoiled about that because I don't plan on reading that series. Because I wasn't planning on reading this series either, so. So if you don't want spoilers for these Violent Delights, that series, there are a lot of spoilers in here. Well, kind of. You just have to know they're there, and I knew they were there, so. Oh, I really liked it. Now moving on to a book I just actually finished maybe half an hour ago. Assistant to the Villain. This was a 4.5. I really, really liked this one. I guess the twist of this one. I guess that one. And it might just be like my villain thing, because I always love the villain way more than the hero. And he's a villain. Like, he's actually like a contextualized villain who's not just being evil for evil's sake, which I don't like. I like it when the villains have a purpose, and he has a purpose, and I like that. And you get his perspective, and Evie's, who's the main girl, who just gets offered a job because she's like, I've been looking for a job. But like, sure, I'll hire you to be like his assistant, which is good. And you get like a couple of his perspectives, not as much as you get Evie's. Like, you get his once every like 4 chapters. And I liked his perspective so much. I like Evie's too. Like, I really, really liked this book. It's so good. And like, you get all of their interpersonal relationships and why they are where they are. It's just, this one also made me cry. And like, what is wrong with me this month? I've just been crying. I am so excited to actually read this series. Like, I am seriously considering buying the next book in this series. Maybe even the next 2. Because I really, really liked it. Only reason it's not higher again is because of the cliffhanger. I didn't like it. And it was like a little slow in the beginning. Like, the first couple first like 50 pages were kind of slow for me. So it wasn't higher, but I really liked it. I really, really did. It was so, so good. I'm seriously considering buying the rest of the series because I think there's 2 more. There's, what is it? Assistant to the Villain? The next one should be in here. What is it? What is it? Apprentice to the Villain, and then the last one I think is Accomplice to the Villain. So I'm gonna read them. Okay, time for spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers for these 3 books, come back later when you've read the books. Starting with this one. I love it. I love it so much. I am like a full like supporter that Wolfstar happened at some point, probably when they were kids, because there's no way some of the interactions that they have were just platonic, and that Sirius actually listens to Remus when he wouldn't listen to reason from basically anyone else. Like, it had to have been something. Like, it couldn't just have been, oh, we're friends. Because he was friends with James, and I don't think James could have gotten the reactions that Remus got out of him. And I love, like, the whole Dementor thing, where Harry, it's so sad, where he's like, but I kind of want to hear my parents again. It's the only time I ever heard their voices, but it's literally the worst memory of his life. And Time Turner stuff with Hermione, and Ron's basically the only one catching it. Like, where are you going? He's so frustrated. He doesn't know where she's going. I don't like divination. I really don't. I don't like Trelawney. But she does make the prophecy at the end, which is important to basically the entire thing. And Dumbledore even says that brings her total up to 2. If you know, you know. But, and then I despise Peter Pettigrew. He was one of my least favorite characters, I think, in the entire book. He's worst from Dumbledore, in my opinion. Like, my order of hatred for characters is Dumbledore, Peter, Snape, Umbridge, Voldemort. Like, they're all up there. I hate all of them so much. And there's others, but those are, like, the ones off the top of my head that I can just know I hate. But, Like, literally, Remus says, you should have known that Voldemort didn't kill you. We would. Like, I don't know who he was fooling, trying to be a rat for 12 years. And Buckbeak, I love Buckbeak. I mean, Malfoy kind of sucks in this one because his entire goal is to get Hippogriff killed. I mean, come on, Malfoy. You can be smarter than that. Quidditch stuff was good in this one. I like it when he blows up Aunt Marge. That's hilarious. But to be fair, she was kind of insulting his parents. I don't really know why Petunia was letting it happen. Like, he was insulting Lily, like, a lot, and Petunia's parents. Which I don't really think she would have stood by for. Even if she did hate Lily, she's still insulting her family. And I feel like Petunia kind of takes her family seriously. I don't know. I liked it. I really do. And Fudge is being kind of awful in this one because he's like, you don't go to Azkaban for blowing up your aunt, yet you go to Azkaban for trying to save your life, apparently. So crazy. I love the concept of a boggart. I really don't know what mine would be because it's so good. And the Marauders map. I love all of the Marauders stuff. All of the Marauders stuff is some of my favorite stuff in the series. It's so good. One of my absolute favorites. Okay, moving on to Valley of Fortune, where it's a fake marriage with Orion and Rosalind, and they hate each other, and Rosalind can't age. She's stuck at 19, and she doesn't really care about the side of like this faction war that she's on. She really just wants to kill certain specific people. Like, that's what she wants. And she cares about her sister even though she's on the other side. So she doesn't really care what happens, but since she's technically still on a side, they're making her like do this mission that she doesn't want to do. So she's teamed up with Orion, who's just amazing. He calls her beloved, and then he actually falls in love with her, and like they fall in love with each other. Oh, it's amazing. It's so cute. I love his family. I don't trust Celia or Oliver because of what happens at the end. I don't trust them. But I love Phoebe so much. Like, there are these chemical attacks that are happening, and they really don't know like how to stop them. So like they teamed up together to like infiltrate this place. And it reminds me so much of like the Winter Soldier, like Bucky Barnes. Because that's what Orion is. Except he has both his arms. Because he gets mind controlled by his mother. Like, his own mother comes in and mind controls him to do all the killing. But Rosalind still wants to save him. Still wants to make sure that he'll be okay. And then he gets kidnapped at the end. And, like, she can't find him. And then, oh, I forget her name. But I really, really liked that character. Where is it? Alyssa. Her name is Alyssa. I really liked Alyssa. Like, Rosalind trusting her enough, even though she was on, like, they didn't like each other, like, from the start. But they still trusted each other. Like, it was mutual assured destruction. But they still, like, had an innate trust in each other. And she gives her, like, this vial that can create, like, might be able to create a cure to what her and Orion have. Because he also has some sort of serum running through his veins. See, like Winter Soldier. That's what it immediately reminds me of. And she gives it to Alyssa to take to her sister because that's the only person she trusts to have it. Yet, when she goes and confronts them, she's like, Oliver, did you know that your brother was being mind controlled by your own mother? And he says he knew somewhat, which I don't believe. Because then at the end, when Rosalind's cover is blown and everyone knows who she is and she's in the hospital, her sister comes and says, oh, Alyssa came and was going to give me something, but then she like ran off. I don't know why, and no one can find her. I'm like, you know why? She literally told you why she ran off. So I don't trust her. But the Phoebe twist at the end, I did not see the Phoebe twist coming. Her being priest. I mean, it kind of makes sense because she was jealous of her alter ego getting Silas. even though she likes Silas, but like won't say anything because he's always been around. And Silas playing the triple agent. But that means Priest is on the side of like the person controlling her brother. So I really don't know. I don't think she's okay with people controlling her brother, but she's on the other side. So I am curious. She's on the same side of Oliver, her older brother. So I'm excited to see where that goes. But like the entire building of like their relationship to like hatred to like kind of friends to like liking to like in love, because it gets real deep at the end. Like she doesn't want to leave him, but she doesn't have a choice because he's gonna kill her if he finds her, because he can't control himself. I really liked it. I didn't expect myself to like it. I expected myself to like enjoy it, but I didn't expect to like binge it like I did. I binged this book. It was so good. I really, really liked it. Oh, so good. Now moving on to last one. Assistant to the Villain. Now this one follows Eva and the villain, whose name is what is his name? Like he gives it like his first point of view chapter he gives it, but Tristan. His name is Tristan. I love him. He's adorable. But he doesn't think he deserves to be adorable. Ugh. Because of like his so much trauma past, which all villains have trauma past, so. And like she has a trauma past too, like the killing doesn't bother her. Seeing severed heads in the building just becomes like normal to her. And like she basically is running his business. She's like his Pepper Potts. A lot of Marvel analogies in this one. But like she knows everything, and like they're both kind of attracted to each other from the beginning, which I don't hate, because that sometimes happens. Sometimes you're like, that guy's hot, and like you're attracted to them from the beginning. But I don't really like fall in love until like the middle of the book. But they don't ever admit to each other that they're in love. So it's like, it's good. And you find out about Tristan's past with the king and why they're going to war, basically. Because the king was like, you know what, you're too dangerous. I'm gonna lock you up. Which he did, and that caused the villain to become the villain. Like, if he didn't do that, this wouldn't happen, so. What are you really doing? And Evie's, like, whole entire thing with that blacksmith, who her dad basically sold her to. Her dad being the bad guy at the end. I called that. Because he was just disappearing at random hours. I was like, that don't make sense. Where are you going? You're supposed to have this mysterious sickness. Where are you going? So I called that. I called him being the bad guy. So, and you meet Tristan's sister, who hates him. Well, doesn't hate him. She really genuinely loves him, but like, she keeps saying that she hates him, but she doesn't. And his brother, who also says he hates him, but they don't. Like, they love each other, but they hate each other. And I really liked that. Ugh, it's so good. I really liked that. You get to see Eva's sister, Liza. I like her. And you meet a lot of like the different employees, like the dragon tamer. I forget his name. What is his name? Blade. He's a dragon tamer who almost gets Evie like basically fired because he was lying about why he came to the villain in the first place. You also get Becky. I didn't like Becky at first, but like then you learn her story in the middle, and you're like, you kind of feel for her because her one of her family members is suffering from the same disease that Eva's father is supposedly suffering from. The whole little like reveal at the end, it was phenomenal. I really loved it. Even though I called it, it was still really good. And then once the king comes in and kidnaps Tristan because he's like, oh, you love her, I'm not gonna let you watch her get killed because I'm a good guy. I'm such a good guy. So he kidnaps him, but then Eva's like, you know what, I'm gonna become the villain now and I'm gonna get him back. Ugh, it's so good. I really liked it. And he has like a certain power where Tristan does, where he can like pinpoint something's like kill point and weak point, so he knows how like to get rid of like certain things that's hurting them, which I thought was like So good. And like it's all about these creatures that the king wants for some reason to make like a cure for something is what he says. I think it might be like a plague, considering he's kind of more evil than the villain. But he needs like these certain beasts that Tristan has. And like the whole time they're looking for a traitor in their midst. So every time you're like, could it be that person? Could it be that person? And they kind of trick you in the end when they think it's I forget her name, but like the healer that is basically Tristan's sister's ex-girlfriend. But I really liked it. What's her name? That's Tatiana. That's the healer's name. So like they all work together. I cannot wait for the next book to figure out how they save the villain, because he's afraid of the dark and they're locking him in the dark again. Don't do that to him. He's so sweet and adorable. And the whole like little thing they do in the middle where they have to escape from like his father's party. He's like, oh, Evie's like, oh, this is my husband. We're here together. And he's like, she's taken. He's so protective and I love it. Like, the funny thing is, they both care for each other. Like, they're both in love with them. They're both, like, that's the piece of themselves that's, like, outside of their bodies. And Tristan is able, like, to figure out, she probably feels the same way based on the way that we react to each other. But I can't allow that to happen to me. I can't allow myself to feel that, because if I do, I become compromised. And he became compromised, and that's how he got kidnapped by the king, who's awful. Her dad's awful too. Like he says that you became not my daughter basically the moment you started working for him. That is your child. Like, do you feel nothing? And you learn about her past with her sister and her mom, who like developed, because the way magic sort of like develops in this series is you go through something kind of traumatic and like it awakens something. That's how it did for Tristan, his sister, and her mother, actually, who has powers that ended up getting her brother killed. But I really, really enjoyed this one. So I might be having the next two soon. So those are the 3 books I read. Pretty good month for me. I liked them all. Like, I really liked them all. None of them were, like, low. So the next books I will probably read, because they're on my TBR back home, is either Seraphina, Fourth Wing, City in Glass, Truth Witch, or what's the other one that was on it that I didn't remember? Or this other one that I'll put up here that I can't remember. But I am excited to see where it goes from here. And if you liked it, please like and subscribe. Bye everyone.